plane crash that almost killed an entire team.
It's one of the scariest funerals I've ever had in my life.
To a player being stabbed 8 times.
My jacket is red, blood everywhere. I'm kind of leaking down my face. I can really keep my eyes open. And they like, you stabbed.
These are the times NBA players almost died. And first, an entire team almost died in a plane crash. March 30th, 2021. The Utah Jazz were scheduled to take a private flight to play Memphis the very next day. But all of a sudden, an explosion went off.
I immediately got to texting my mom and sister, my dad, just kind of saying like, yo, this could be it.
But it felt like there was an explosion. Like we hit something big and something was really wrong with the plane. It felt like the plane was like breaking apart in midair. People in the back of the plane said they saw flames, and people in the front obviously didn't know what was going on.
I mean, it was a crazy situation. We was all on the plane like, yo, this might be really the end.
It was chaos. Everyone on the Jazz team thought they were gonna die, but luckily, the pilot managed to perform an emergency landing just in time. However, the players were confused about what the happened during the flight. After examining the plane for hours, police revealed that a bird had struck one of the engines, causing it to explode and the plane entering a rapid descent. It's incredible that these guys survived, but at least the Utah Jazz were able to avoid any bruises or injuries because Paul Pierce's mistake almost killed him. See, back in September of 2000, Pierce and some of his homies thought it would be a good idea to hit up the Buzz nightclub in Boston. And being the player that he was, Pierce decided to shoot his shot with some of the girls, But see, there was one girl that really caught his attention. So Pierce walked up, bought her a few drinks, and as expected, they hit it off. But her boyfriend didn't seem too happy about this.
It was a night when I went in Buzz Club, and I caught myself talking to some young ladies. I'm single at the time. Next thing I know, one of the young ladies, I don't know if it's her dude, I don't know what. Next thing I know, a guy approached me like, that's like, you don't talk to her. And I'm like, what? And she like I don't really mess with dude.
But Pierce wasn't about to leave. Hell, he just got there. So he told the guy, F you. So the boyfriend called some of his homies from across the room. But what happened next almost killed Paul Pierce.
I was fighting with 3 guys. Once it was all over with, it's over, I'm standing up. I didn't even know I was being stabbed. And so I look up, I got a jacket on. I look up, and my jacket is red, blood everywhere. I'm kind of leaking down my face. I can really keep my eyes open. And they like, you stabbed, you need to go to the hospital. I remember being at the hospital, banging on the hospital door and, asking, am I gonna die? Am I gonna die? I'm having shortness of breath.
Pierce was stabbed 7 times. And before taking off, one of the goons smashed a bottle across Pierce's face, causing multiple severe injuries. And with the NBA season quickly approaching, fans, teammates, and the media were all unsure if Pierce's future in the NBA was over. Pierce's recovery was slow and challenging, and if he was gonna ever be cleared to play again, it was gonna take a miracle. But in that moment, Pierce realized something. Almost dying that night gave him purpose. With the support of his family, friends, and teammates who rallied behind him, Pierce found the determination to recover and take his place back on the court. Paul Pierce, who was just minutes away from dying, returned to the court and led the Celtics to an NBA championship. Many fans believe this championship proved Pierce's legacy as a Celtics legend, carrying with him the lessons of perseverance and overcoming adversity. And that was just the first of many ways that NBA players were almost killed. But next, we gotta talk about this NBA star that was almost killed by his own team.
I didn't trust their training staff. I didn't know their doctor. I go home to my doctor. And he was like, I studied you when you were here for 5 years, and I've never seen you do this shit. So he was like, you got kids, man. Like, I wouldn't risk. I was just like, I don't want to die.
On April 10th, 2022, in Brooklyn, New York, Lamarcus Aldridge was about to play his very last game. Starting at center, all eyes were on him. He went off with a couple dunks and even a few easy layups. But the most shocking thing happened after this play.
Shoot. Turner. Blocked by Aldridge.
Explain the end of your career, because we had a friend here who's here but not here that had a similar heart condition that you had, and I was literally with him when he died on the court.
The whole thing with my heart is like, if I'm out of rhythm or I'm about to pass out, if you run, your shit's supposed to straighten up, so then you're good to go. It was the first time I was running and my stuff wouldn't straighten up. It was still going slow. It was like weird
So you
to be.
can feel it as you're running.
Yeah, like you're supposed to
right.
be like 100 and some, beats, and you at like 60, and like how is that even possible? So like I just didn't feel right. So the whole night I'm laying there thinking I'm about to die. So then I called the trainer at like 6 a.m. Like, I can't take it no more. Go to the hospital. Like, they checked me out. I was shook because I had just signed with Brooklyn. I didn't know their doctor, so I go home to my doctor, and he was like, I wouldn't risk it. Every other doctor was like, you're good, you're good, you're good.
Shit.
And he was like, I've studied you when you were here for 5 years, and I've never seen you do this shit. So the team's calling me, and I'm just like listening to him. So I was like, you know what, I'm done. So I called him, and I'm like crying, emotional, you know what I'm saying? So then I retire, and like it goes crazy or whatever. As soon as it happened, I packed all my shit up, and like I got on the jet, and I was like, I'm out of here. Because I was just like, I don't want to die.
No one could believe Aldridge was retiring from the thing he loved most. So his sudden exit made headlines everywhere.
Breaking news into First Take this morning. After 15 years in the league, Lamarcus Aldridge announced he is retiring from the NBA, writing on social media that he played his last game on April 10th with an irregular heartbeat. Aldridge saying in his statement, quote, "Though I'm better now, when I felt my heart that night, I was still one of the scariest things I've experienced."
God bless him and his family. I'm glad that he's safe. I'm glad that he's okay. And clearly he's making the right decision, because what he's saying is it's scared the living hell out of him.
The biggest mistake that we make is that we think we have time. Lamarcus Aldridge said, you know what? I'm going to take some time. I'm going to give it to my family. I'm going to make sure my health is okay.
Yep.
And that's what he should do.
Teammates and friends from all over showed their support to Aldridge. Damian Lillard made a post saying, "Health and family will always come before a game. Amazing career, bro." Others made posts saying, "Legendary run, my brother. It was an absolute honor to play with you, my brother. I wish you nothing but the best for you and your family. Take care, my brother." And many more. But next, we gotta talk about the night an NBA player's reckless driving killed his best friend and nearly killed him too. This is J.R. Smith, the Denver Nuggets superstar. One late night, Smith decided to spend some of his NBA millions on his dream car, a McLaren F1. Smith wanted to share this moment with his longtime best friend, Andre Bell. So they decided to go for a late night drive. But what happened next would change everything. On June 2007, Smith was involved in a car crash that killed his best friend Andre and nearly killed him. After the accident, Smith struggled with depression and regret. With all the challenging legal battles and public hate he received, this would only make things worse.
At this point in time, Your Honor, I'd like you to briefly hear from my client so he can explain to you how he feels about this entire situation, and if you would be so inclined to allow him to briefly address the Bell family.
Certainly. Mr. Smith, what would you like to say, sir?
I am deeply sorry. I never intended this to happen. Never in my mind did I ever want to hurt or harm him or anybody else. I mean, Dre is like my brother, just like Jamal, Kenny, and Demetrius. I mean, he was a part of me at one point. He still is a part of me. I mean, he's always there. I mean, it always has been. And it just tears me up that it has to. I mean, it went down like that. It is. I take full responsibility for everything that happened, but I mean. Indeed, it was an accident. I mean, I know it's not going to bring him back. I apologize to everybody. I apologize to Mrs. Bell, because I couldn't imagine what I would do if that was my daughter. I've thought about it. I have dreamt about it. I've dreamt about the shoe being on the other foot if it was me.
During his trial, Smith faced the possibility of 20 years in prison, and many were afraid Smith's future in the NBA might be over. After spending time in jail and with the support from his loved ones, Smith began healing and was determined to have a better impact in the NBA. But next, we gotta talk about an NBA player's addiction that nearly killed him.
I'm going so heavy with the drugs, the woman actually gets into my phone and actually calls Chloe like, "Oh, we gotta come get them." He's just like going crazy. He's gonna kill himself.
This is Lamar Odom. It all started when Lamar was just a kid. He faced some tough challenges, with his father struggling with drug abuse and the loss of his mother at the age of 12. So, to take his mind off of everything he was feeling, he got into playing basketball. But Lamar eventually found a dangerous way to control his own demons. In 2003, at a party in Miami, after trying drugs for the first time, Lamar was hooked. And during his time playing with the Lakers, he became heavily addicted. Lamar managed to keep his addiction hidden from everyone, without letting it impact his performance on the court. But by the time he was married to Khloe Kardashian in 2009, he was living two entirely different lives. One day, he would spend time with his family, filming TV shows and enjoying the life of an NBA superstar. But the following day, he would be partying at the club after a Lakers game, taking pleasure in huge amounts of drugs. In 2011, Lamar's demons had him in a chokehold. All he could think about was drugs. He was out of shape and his performance got worse, to the point where he left the NBA completely by 2013. By now, his problem had completely consumed his life and he couldn't keep it a secret any longer. After a wild night filled with drugs, anger, and screams, Lamar found himself kicked out, on the street without a wife or home to come back to. And that's when things took a turn for the worse. He ended up using drugs every day for 2 years straight, and eventually his body couldn't handle it anymore. On October 2015, Lamar's body gave out, and he was quickly taken to a hospital in Las Vegas, where he fell into a coma.
Can you hurry, please? Because he's got blood coming out of his nose, white stuff coming out of his mouth. They can't get him to wake up. He's like almost not breathing.
Another male caller told operators about drugs he says Odom had been taking.
He apparently had some cocaine on him that he finished on. He did this on Saturday.
So, as far as you know, there was no cocaine since Saturday?
That is correct.
Lamar experienced kidney failure, multiple strokes, and heart attacks, all while he was unconscious. They hooked him up to life support and gave him a feeding tube. The doctors even reached out to his family and asked them to come to the hospital. So, after 3 days in a coma, Lamar woke up. He couldn't walk or talk, but he was still alive. The doctors were amazed and called it a miracle. Lamar was flown to a hospital in LA where he'd been undergoing rehab for the past few months. It's been a difficult road towards recovery. Odom continues to work on getting back to full health even today. Man, shout out to you, Lamar. We're rooting for you. But this next player we have to talk about nearly died when they stepped in the water with one of the world's deadliest animals. This is Shaq.
How big is that? Man, I'm not getting anywhere with that. To overcome my fears, I want to do this. I want to do this. I will do this. See you later, America. Hope this is not my last time seeing you. It's rare that I get close to someone that is bigger than me. Regular people, I feel you now. Nope, I'm out. Nope.
Chill out. That was just a fish. You look good.
No.
Now, if you thought Shaq was crazy for that, check out the time these NBA players went undercover to surprise their biggest fans. If you like this video, let us know down below and tell us what other videos you'd like to see. Thanks for watching.